Brand new permission today. It's not a great permission, or at least I don't think it is. It's actually like my secondary spot that I stopped. First place, the ground was frozen solid, it was fields. And this is a permission I recently got from YouTube. A guy owns this, it's like an investment property. I think he said it's about 12 acres. He really doesn't know anything about it, but it's not too far from where I live, so I stopped by. I actually like it a lot so far. I haven't started detecting, but there's a lot of like houses over there. There's highways off in the distance. So we don't have a lot of area to really explore. But look at this water behind me. There's obviously a nice spring right there. I'm looking in the where the water's flowing through here for any signs of like pottery or mini balls or coins. Haven't really seen anything. But with a spring of that size, I'm pretty certain there's going to be a home site here. I mean, look at it, it's beautiful. I haven't been over there. Let's go look. I'll quit talking. I love the limestone rocks right there. Looks like there's a pretty good clay bed, so things shouldn't be too deep, but also there's a lot of trash in here, unfortunately. Let's walk up here together, explore together. Some old tires. It's going to be a junky place. It looks interesting over there too. I can see some, oh, look at the water running out of there. Now there's water running everywhere this year because it's been a really wet year. So, but this looks like a pretty permanent spring head to me with that, well, maybe. I don't know. Skull. Is it human? No, it's not human. An old deer skull right there. That looks pretty substantial. Let's go check it out real quick. And then I'll cut the video off, so I don't use up all my battery life. Strange. It's a strange area, but it's been pushed around with machinery, like you know, dozers or something. You can see there's a lot of water pours out of there. Hubcaps, water. Yeah, this has been dug up. You can see piles of dirt, but I suspect there's a nice spring right here. Well, I mean, there is a nice spring right here, but I think it's good enough to have a house. Oh yeah, look at that. That is so cool. I love water. I wouldn't want to be in it right now, but solid rocks, that's probably where the main spring pops out. I suspect if there's a house, it's going to be up in here somewhere. So let's just turn on the machine. We'll start hunting. As soon as I get a good signal, well, let's put it this way. As soon as I find something, I'll turn the camera back on because I may not find anything. Look at that thing moving. The branch is like twisting in the wind. That's something you just really don't see too much in the wild. You see stuff move in the wind, but not just like twist around and back around. Like there's a spirit hanging there, wanting us to check right there. Maybe there's a murder victim buried right there. And that's a spirit trying to get our attention. We're going that away. This is a pretty, turn that thing off. This is kind of a weird place. I'm getting a lot of iron, not any really good signals, but I think it was a dump. I'll show you why. I saw these piles of bricks. I'm like, wow, it's a foundation. It's gonna be awesome. I came over here, but it's way too many bricks. And you can see there's some cinder blocks mixed in. It goes all the way up through there. Kind of a swampy area. I mean, we can look up in there. We might get lucky with a house. I did not find anything over by the spring, which is right there. So my hopes are diminishing a little bit, but not completely yet. I mean, might find an old dump, who knows? Full of bottles and cool stuff. I mean, some of these bricks look fairly old, but it's not an old dump because of cinder blocks. When I say old, I'm talking like at least 100 years. Not that old. All right, we'll go up through here. A lot of briars and stuff, so I'm gonna turn the camera off again, and as soon as I see something interesting or find something, I'll let you know. It's kind of a weird feeling out here in this woods. I mean, looking down that way, you can see how the logs are all covered with green moss and a little bit spooky. And being winter, the sun is actually really low on the horizon, so it makes for very strange shadows and just actually kind of a creepy feeling. The air, I mean, everything looks different in the winter time like this when the sun's low. There's a little shelter here that probably is somebody's tree fort. Let's check it out. I'm not finding anything with a metal detector. Like I said, there's some subdivisions nearby, so this is probably some kid's tree fort. It's not like a deer stand or a homeless camp, I wouldn't think. It's been down a number of years. Wow, it just looks weird out across there. Because it's like in the middle of the day right now. It's not in the evening. It's very strange lighting. You know, when they made the movie The Revenant some years ago, it took them a long time to do it and cost a lot of money because they wanted to use, the directors, the natural light in the winter time, which is when that story took place. And it is very different than all the other light you see. It gives me chills thinking about it. It's a hard time for people and animals alike this time of year. All right, I'm gonna grab the machine, get back to it. I'm kind of moved away from the spring, which is down there, but I didn't really look at it that close, so don't give up hope yet. But we're just kind of exploring right now. Spooky. I just think that's so cool. Look at it. That's neat. This is kind of weird. It's like a jacket and sunglasses on a tree. I don't see anybody nearby. Maybe they were murdered. Looks like you can see where they cut some bushes here. It's been hacked. Yeah, it's old. It's dry, so they probably had a little camp set up in here maybe and forgot their sunglasses and jacket. Should we look in there? See what's there. That's strange. Well, not too strange, I guess, but I will leave it there for them. Although I kind of suspect they have long since forgotten about it. I hope that's not my big treasure for the day. And I hope that's not from the malevolent spirit that's buried by the spring over there that's making that tree twirl around. That's even spookier, isn't it? At least we're a good 150 yards away from that, so they may not be related. Still haven't found anything, but I wanted to show you this root ball right here. This is where a tree fell over and it pulled all the dirt up. If you're ever out exploring or just doing whatever, always look at the root balls, because there could be cannonballs sticking out of there, or bottles, or you might see bricks and pottery. It'll give you a good indication of what's going on and what's actually underground. I found a lot of stuff just walking by and looking at things like that. So always check out the root ball. Root balls are good. Back to digging. Well, I found what I was hoping would be my first keeper, but I suspect that's a light bulb base, fixture rather. I mean, it's an older one, but it's still a light bulb fixture. I did see an old brick over there in the leaves, but there's a lot of junk nearby too. I don't have a real good feeling about this spot right here, so we're going to keep moving around. I'm actually to the end of the woods, so we're going to circle around back toward the water and give that a really good look, because we didn't spend much time there at all. So actually really hot. Fingers are freezing, but boy, it's just like roasting in here. Just had a nice signal there. I went ahead and dug it, and I'm really surprised at how black the soil is. I mean, just beautiful, rich looking soil. Found this thing. I was really excited at first because I thought it was a casing to a Burnside carbine cartridge, but it isn't. I think it's actually like the tip to a cane, and I'll show you why I think that. So it's pretty lightweight, but if you look right there, there's that little hole at the end of that finger near the top. That's where a pin would have gone through to hold this to probably a piece of wood, or wooden dowel of some sort, like a cane. So it's very lightweight. I don't think it's that old, but it's the oldest thing we've found so far. I think it's probably even older than that light bulb fixture. Hey, I'm really sweating bullets hoping we're going to find something, because I don't need another dud video. So 1/3 of the way through the woods, we got 2/3 to go, so I'm not giving up yet. So we're on the very back end of the property. As you can see, we're up against the highway there. We're 2/3 or better done with the property, but I think I just found evidence. What a mess. This is why people don't like homeless people camping on their property. Look at that mess. Now the reason I know it's not just a dump is because obviously there's some bedding there and some tarps. This is where somebody would have lived. It's not a kid's camp, obviously. because there's so much junk here. They lived here for a while. Wow, look at that mess. Jeez. Is that rolling rock, I guess? Those green bottles. Don't see any skulls. Human skulls, so that's a good sign. Well, I don't think I really want to look too hard in there. All right. So I'm just going to work along the highway for a few more minutes here. Got a couple little hills and work my way back to the truck, and that's it, man. I'm just not finding anything old. Just messes in the woods that I kind of really wish I hadn't found because it's just so depressing. All right, off we go. Should we look for bones? Should we? I mean, it could actually be a skeleton in here. You know, if I was a homeless dude living out here, instead of making a pile of trash like that with all those plastic bottles, I mean, if I didn't like want to take that to the local McDonald's and pitch them, I think I'd just burn them at night, you know, for warmth, and then you wouldn't have all this trash. Must not be a very astute homeless person. By astute, I mean smart, which isn't really what that means, but okay. Let's look in the tent. Oh, yeah, see any skulls? Now, I know some of you guys are going to freak out and think, oh, we shouldn't be disturbing somebody's camp. But I don't think he's going to miss this stuff. All right, I don't see any evidence of any long bones. Basically, I'm just looking for skulls and long bones, like arm bones and leg bones, because they're really big and easy to see. I'm not seeing any, so we'll hit the road. Or at least move off in that direction. See a big pile of deer fur over there, but no skeleton or body. That's a highway, so probably got hit in the highway and crawled down here. Let's look, there's some more fur there. Let's look around and see. Maybe it was a big buck and there's a huge gigantic rack out here. I see a skeleton over there. Walked right by that. Well, really not right by it, but pretty close. That had definitely been there a while. That's a skull right there. I can see that there's two nubs on it, so that tells me that that deer was probably hit early in the season, like maybe in the spring, because it's obviously been there a while, and there's no antlers, but there's antlers have started to grow, or someone cut them off with a hacksaw. We're not going to go over there and look. All right, I'll keep that a little longer. Had a really good signal by the rock right there, and I thought I had something great, but it was a bust. Sorry. I'll show you guys something kind of interesting. I'm actually walking back to the vehicle and almost there, but I saw this big pile of like fluffy deer fur on the ground. It kind of trails out that way, so I was kind of following it, see if I could find, you know, antlers or, you know, something like that. The fur's here, and I'm noticing that there's some like tissues here, so I thought maybe that's where someone had cleaned the deer. They shot it and then gutted it out and cleaned it. And that's probably what happened, actually. These bones, those are older. That's from another deer from another year. A poet, and I didn't even know it. Well, anyway, let's follow the deer. I want to show you something cool. So come over here, there's more hair. So actually, the fact that there's hair here and there, either they cleaned it there or my whole hypothesis is not correct, but I think I'm correct. So it goes through here, goes through here, goes through here, here. Okay, let's go look. Oh yeah, and something I'm going to tell you that's really, really sad after we're done with this. Well, sad for me. I don't know about you, because I'll be shutting up. Oh, all right, here we go. So I came over to here, and looky, there's a backbone. Now that's a, you know, fairly recent backbone. That's this year. But as I was looking at the fur, just kind of checking around, look what I see. Look at that. That is the fletching off of an arrow. So this deer was shot with an arrow. I imagine he was probably shot over there, and some animal has been slowly dragging him through the woods to here. I don't see the head, and I'm not really going to look for the head because, although I found this wonderful fletching for an arrow, typical Chig, I lost my brand new camera. There was actually a camera on the end of this, and you see the mount's broken, so somewhere in the last half an hour and probably a quarter of a mile, I snagged it on something and snapped off. So I have to look for it because it's like almost brand new. I think I've only made one video with it. So to make a long story short, this is the end of the video. I think I'm going to be spending a while looking for that camera, and I only have about 2 hours before it gets dark, and I definitely want to find it because I don't want to come back up here again, ever. Thanks for hanging out with me. We'll see. Oh, this is my old Olympus camera I'm using right now, my backup. We'll see on the next one. I'll be quiet. I gotta go. Gotta go find a camera. Oh, yeah, this is gonna not be fun. I was all over the place up here. I'm kind of hiking around, you know, and there's no way I'm gonna be able to follow my trail again. See how thick it is? I kind of went back and forth through there detecting and hiking and just looking for stuff. That's not gonna be a good one. I don't have a good feeling about this, but oh well. If we don't find it today, we'll come back another day. I just don't want to. We'll see you on the next one. I gotta start looking.
You are my lady, my big round baby, and I'll rock you until I go to sleep. She'll shake the coins from your pocket, take your gold chain and your locket. Mother Earth has no sympathy. She'll take the ring from your hand and bury it in the sand and keep it for eternity. Mother Earth, she's got her secrets. She's promised to
Precious.